Hello and welcome to this podcast edition of Sam's Alternatives with me, Sam. Episode 39, I'll be chatting to Tassie emo punk rock band My Deceased Estate. I thought I'd just jump on a few minutes early because there's quite a bit to get through before the guys jump on, because it's 2 weeks since I've done an episode. There's been that much new releases dropped and interviews coming up. So we have, of course, Heists, The Comfort, The Gloom in the Corner, Silverfang, Earth Cadet, Pain Body, Lean In, 2 Octavia, Enon, also Rat Tomb, Head Wreck, Newgate Crowd, Glow, among other bands that have dropped new music. We've got interviews coming up. So Tuesday the 7th of October, it's the Lab Coat Fiasco. Then on Sunday the 12th of October, it's Connor from No Life. Saturday the 18th of October, Roanoa. Then Saturday the 25th of October, we have Glow. Saturday the 1st of November, Carly Jewel. Thursday the 6th of November, Tidewalker. Tuesday the 11th of November, we have, of course, David Jones. Tuesday the 18th of November, Neo Stereo. Sunday the 23rd of November, it is Civilians. So heaps of interviews coming up. Lots of gigs happening, including some ones that have just been announced, including Sunday the 2nd of November. If you're not going to ArcFest, check out this lineup at the Bergie on Sunday the 2nd of November. Pray For Me, Cultists, and also Seek Misery, plus a Melbourne opener. Of course, Seek Misery, Cultists, and Pray For Me will be playing ArcFest the day before, with the likes of Body Prison and Archangel, Whisperhead, Ghost Seeker, Deadskin, among others. Also, I'll let you in on a little secret, because this has only just been announced, might I add. On Saturday 13th of December, Terry Truern, who's a 3BBRFM presenter, who's also been on the YouTube and the audio podcast before, will be jumping on. That's surprise number 1. Surprise number 2, I kid you not, we are going to reveal the 2,500 to 2,401 part of the countdown, because that starts the same day of the top 2,500 best songs of the 2020 so far from Aussie and New Zealand bands and artists will be revealed on that episode. A lot of questions are going to be asked, who has made the countdown? Who will take out number 1? There's a lot of records about to be broken, including one band, I kid you not, have 27 entries in the countdown. Now, who is this band? A lot of speculation saying it might be Red Hawk, maybe Clay J. Gladstone, it might be Echoes in Eternity. There's a whole heap of bands being thrown around. It's going to be interesting. The other thing is, No Life and Total Buzzkill. Could they do what no other band has done and go back to back? So Total Buzzkill could go back to back after the last countdown of the top 1,000 best songs from bands and artists I've interviewed countdown a couple of months ago. And No Life could go back to back after last year's countdown with Obnoxious featuring Amua. Could it happen? All these questions will be answered just 10 weeks away, this countdown. I cannot wait. It's going to be something. Make sure you get through your favourite songs from Aussie bands and artists in the countdown, because it's going to be awesome. It has to be, of course, between the start of January 2020 through until the end of November. So November 30, 2025. If it's released in that bracket, it's eligible. And it doesn't matter what style of music it is, or whether they're from Australia or New Zealand, regional Australia or city Australia, they are eligible. So, interesting. This is the first of 3 Tassie bands I will actually be interviewing in the next 5 weeks, because as mentioned, the Lab Coat Fiasco will be jumping on Tuesday, the 7th of October, so Tuesday this week coming, and then, of course, Tidewalker on the 6th of November. So, yeah, it'll be the 4th Tassie band I will interview in 2025. Of course, Drenched, I interviewed back in May. So, yeah, there's a whole heap of great talent coming out of Tassie at the moment. I mean, I just mentioned a few there. Lab Coat Fiasco, Tidewalker, Gold Throne, Sword Bros, Drenched. You've got My Deceased Estate, accomplished bands like Luca Brasi and Alpha Wolf, of course. You've got other bands like Last Word. You've got Scatterbrain. There's just a whole heap of bands coming out of Tassie, which is awesome to see. But how is everyone's weekend going? It's nice and warm outside here in Warragul, and tomorrow I think it's meant to be even warmer before it buckets down at like 9 o'clock at night. It's going to be like 26 and then rain in the late afternoon, evening. So if you're going to do stuff tomorrow, I would suggest probably doing it in the morning or even early afternoon. So yeah, I'm just here in the lobby, as they say, or in the meeting, sorry, waiting for my deceased estate to jump on. There's no rush, as it is, not even 12 o'clock yet. So, yeah. And, of course, daylight savings, very important tomorrow, or your clocks on your phone generally do it anyway, to move you forward. Move your clocks forward an hour tomorrow because daylight saving ends. Can't believe we're already in October. The year's just disappeared before our eyes. I mean, it only feels like yesterday. We're in the first part of 2025 and now we're into the last 2.5 months of 2025. How scary is that? But yeah, 2025's been a great year. I'm going to a gig tonight at, of course, Mr. Boogeyman Bar. It is, of course, Jarrod's in the lobby from my deceased estate. I'll let Jarrod in. Hello.
Hi, mate.
Hey, sorry, I was rambling on for about 10 minutes because, well, there hasn't been an episode in 2 weeks and people are probably thinking, where's all this new music that's dropped that I haven't mentioned? So,
There's a bit of it, eh, mate?
oh, a bit
Lots of new
is an
stuff going out.
understatement, Jarrod. I think it's a whole shitload. I looked at the list, I'm like, it's only been a fortnight. How can everyone have dropped new music in 2 weeks?
I just picked the same weekend, don't I? Let's go here. Yeah.
And we've got Dave.
This is Connor.
Connor. Oh, sorry, Connor.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave couldn't make it today.
Nah, all good. All right, let's start that again. Afternoon, or we might as well say afternoon. It's nearly afternoon.
Close
Afternoon
enough.
to Connor and Jarrod from Tassie emo punk rock band, electronica band, My Deceased Estate, who I am loving. As I said, there's a lot of good talent coming out of Tassie at the moment.
Yeah, Tassie's smashing it at the moment. Yeah, the scene's gone off its head. They had a gig last weekend. They had 400 plus too. Of just a local gig down here. Pretty insane numbers for Tassie. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in the last 2 years it's gone a bit mental, really. Like I feel like when I first turned 18 and started playing gigs, you'd be lucky to get 20, 30 people there. And now, you know, if you got less than 100, it's probably not a great turnout, which is, I don't think it's really changed. The style of music hasn't really changed that much, so it's pretty, people getting behind it a bit more, which is good.
Do you think it has anything to do with, like, I know they're established bands and now breaking it big in Australia and overseas as well. Is it the fact that Luca Brasi and Alpha Wolf are both from Tassie that people are thinking, all right, well, if they've come out of Tassie, there might be a lot of other great talent out there that aren't well known?
Yeah, it could have. Alpha Wolf would have a lot to do with it, with our scene, definitely. But at the same time, like, lately, it's just been the bands down here actually bringing it up to the next level. Like 5 years ago, they weren't doing the same promos as we do now, and bands weren't putting out full EPs, and they were putting out a song here and there. And I feel like the actual quality of the work's gotten a lot better as well.
And
yeah, definitely.
I also feel like, and I don't ever like to mention this word anymore because no one wants to ever hear COVID ever again, but I feel like ever since COVID restrictions, lockdowns have all gone away, the music that's been released in that 3-year period is, I would say, probably the best Aussie music I've seen released probably ever. And it's a big call when you think of the Parkways and the North Lanes and Polarises in previous years, but it just seems like we're going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think every band, I mean, we weren't a band at the point, but I mean, every band at COVID, I think, just started writing music, didn't they? Like, you couldn't play live, so the only other thing you could do was record in your home studio. So, and then it's probably the after effect of that, right? People had a fair bit of material they're probably sitting on, and it's all come out sort of pretty soon after, once you can start releasing it.
When you have something like that you love taken away from you as well, and then you can actually do it again, I think you get more appreciation of it as well. So the quality of that's become much more as well. But yeah, I agree. The music in the last 3 years has been probably the best I've heard as well from Australian bands.
And I know I've criticised Spotify constantly, and it's no secret that I have, but thanks to Spotify, I think a lot of these release radars, the new release Friday that Jarrod from Amanaki does, the New Zealand band, Ethan, Jarrod's in the band, another member, Ethan
Yep.
from Amanaki does a new release Friday on Silly Goose every week, and it's like, I looked at my Spotify and 90% of those bands have come from that new release Friday.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, yeah, Spotify, you're pricks on so many other levels, but that part, you're actually a decent company, but don't tell anyone I said that.
We'll just bleep that bit out.
But we will get to how I did discover my deceased estate a little bit later on in the interview, because there's a few Tassie bands I discovered through this playlist that I probably wouldn't have heard of if it wasn't for it. So
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sweet.
no. I did go back and listen to your 3 songs, Real, Fake, and Why, and I could have listened to it about 10 times because the total time for the songs is like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Half of that's probably one song.
We've actually got another song that goes for, probably 50 seconds?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one.
Well, I think we wrote our first song that went for over 3 minutes the other day, and I was like telling Jarrod we're pretty much sellouts now. Like,
Yeah.
we could have to cut that out.
3 minutes. That's short
No.
in most, but in my deceased estate's case,
That's a ballad.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like I like short, fast, 2 minutes, 40 seconds, roughly songs. I feel like if you're doing the same thing the whole time, after about 4 minutes, you kind of get over it. Especially playing it. But like if you've got different parts of the songs and like you do like like a Sleep Token or like a Bring Me the Horizon kind of would do, and they have all these different elements, that's when you can extend it out and make it bigger. But for us at the moment, we're just when we started writing, and those were probably 3 of the first songs we wrote, was just we were trying to actually put a set list together, so we were writing what we could do. And we didn't really have all these big parts as well. We're just trying to make it short, fast, punchy.
Which I like. I think that what you said there's completely and totally understandable, Jarrod. I think while there's songs, like you said, from Bring Me the Horizon and Sleep Token and bands like Tool and prog metal bands like that, where they have different parts of the song that can go for those longer things, I think 2.5 to 3 minutes is actually good duration because it's quick, it's going to be heavy, and there's not going to be much break in between a chorus or a bridge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a band I listen to a lot of, Beartooth, and they literally use the same same formula pretty much every single song. It's got a beginning, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a breakdown, and an outro. And if you look at their albums, like on the on Spotify and that, nearly all their songs go between like 2 minutes 30 and 3 minutes. They're all exactly the same length, but like it's worked for them. And I just always seem to go back to that myself now because I'm just like, well, previous bands that I've been in, we tried to do the complicated things and what we've been doing has been more simple, so it's been more effective for us.
And also the fact the three-piece band. I mean, there's a pretty famous band by the name of Blink-182 that's a three-piece band that are almost the kings of 2.5-minute songs, and
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
worked very well for them. So
Yeah. No, well, there's heaps, isn't there? You've got Green Day. I think Sum 41 was a three-piece, and they might
Yeah.
be four-piece.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I think all our songs are about 200 BPM, so
Yeah.
there's still a lot of bars to get in that minute and a half of the song.
Yeah.
Nah. I've been loving the music, and my deceased estate have been pretty regular on the podcasts of the Spotify playlists. I think this is number 15. Like, I'm excluding any countdown Spotify playlist because that's counted in a way, but it's not. So I think it's 15 or 16 in a row. So this one will be 17.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. That's great. Like, when you first put the stuff out there, you never know who it's going to find and who's going to listen to it. So to hear that, it's really good for us. So thank you.
No worries at all. You'll be not in the middle of the playlist or near the bottom. You'll be at the top because that's what happens every interview. The band I'm interviewing has top spot of the list.
Yeah, awesome.
So
thank you.
And I might actually let you in on something else, Jarrod and Connor. And this is breaking news. I don't like to do breaking news or give away countdowns.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. My deceased estate have made the best songs of 2020 countdown so far. So the best songs of 2020s, all three have made it. I don't know where, but they're in there.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet.
So you're not, and to answer the question, you're not 2,500 to 2,498. That's a bit more of a spoiler.
Yeah, sweet.
But no, if you haven't checked out My Deceased Estate, go check them out after this interview, obviously. Listen to them before the interview, then watch the interview. All right, well, generally with these chats, Jarrod and Connor, it's just a bit of a get to know the band, get to know your influences, how the band formed, that sort of thing. And then at the very end, Jarrod and Connor turn the tables on the interviewer and ask me a question.
Oh, lucky dip.
I'm sort of expecting anything because I've been asked some pretty weird and wild shit.
Oh, I reckon.
Oh, that's also another disclaimer. Swearing is fine because I've already dropped 2 or 3 F-bombs in the video before you jumped on and just then,
Yep.
so.
Sweet. Yep, we know.
And this will be uploaded tomorrow as well.
Yep.
So, and
Sweet.
the playlist will be as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing this to the world, hearing Connor and Jarrod talk. No one wants to hear me talk. They want to hear the band talk. All right, so first question, probably bands get asked this more than anything as the first question. How did My Deceased Estate form?
So me and Connor actually played in multiple bands together now. We're in a like a, what do you call it, steampunk?
Yeah.
We're in a steampunk band. Like I used to wear a suit on stage with a top hat and sorry. We're in that band for probably 2 years and used to do a few gigs, and then we're also in a probably better off letting Connor talk about his other band. I joined later.
I used to have a bit of a band going Adapt. Jarrod jumped on bass for that for a bit, and we sort of just play bass and drums. You playing about 500 bands in Tassie, so you just end up going band to band together. But this band pretty much started because I actually had to return a delay pedal to Jarrod that I borrowed for Adapt, and then we had a jam, and then Jarrod wrote like 6 songs, and we're like, I guess we have a band now. So, but for a fair bit, we only I guess the idea of it at the start was just to really just record some stuff and have a bit of fun with it. So it was just the 2 of us for a fair bit.
Yeah.
With no real plan or just sort of the idea was to make a band, I guess that's not a band. But now we've sort of got like a traditional 3-piece setup. But I think the idea behind it was just to try and record the music we wanted to record. Don't worry about how we're going to do it live or anything like that. Just sort of, let's just record it. And then, if it gets to a point where we want to play live, we'll work it out from there. And then, yeah, that's sort of when we got Dave on board. And he's like one of my mates from high school who lives up the road. He's an absolute freak at guitar, and he never played bass, but he's a freak at that too. So I've been trying to convince him for years to get off the farm and come play in a band, and it's taken about 10 years, and we've got him doing it.
Well, the consistency of, wanting him to join the band has paid off, obviously, because, 10 years trying to join a band, that's a decade. That's actually quite a long time to get someone to be part of your band, but it's worked.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got there in the end, which is always good. Get him off the farm, always hassling. Got to get off the farm, Dave. Got to come do something else for a bit.
Yeah, no, he's added a lot of extra components to us. Like he brings new ideas. We write some weird lyrics sometimes, but sometimes we keep them. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we laugh at them. But he brings a fun factor to the band, and we all get along really well. We all have a good time. We enjoy each other's company. We don't argue. Someone can't make practice, we just go, no worries, see you next week. Like there's no animosity between members. We just all get along really well.
Yeah, I guess when we started the band, I don't know, we probably both had bad experiences playing in other bands, especially on like a local level where it's just like, I guess we were like pretty realistic. It's like, we both work full time. Jarrod works multiple jobs. Dave runs a dairy farm. It's like, like the whole concept of when we started the band was it's just mates having fun. So that's the main priority. It's like if someone's got something on it, it is what it is, and then there's no one's bummed out about it. It's just like we'll just get to it when we get to it. And it's probably either way it makes it more productive though, I think, because there's no real. I don't think we've really got like an expectation of what the project is. It's just three mates having a fair bit of fun making music together, and because it is fun, I think we do generally spend more time on it than we would if you try and take it real serious all the time. So it's like it sort of counteracts itself, I think.
No, very valid there. And I think, as you said, like, if Jarrod's working multiple jobs and Dave's a dairy farmer, I mean, that in itself would make it hard to get together because dairy farmers work crazy amount of hours. And with Jarrod with multiple jobs, I reckon one job's one day, the next job's the next. And yeah, trying to balance it out's probably a challenge in itself.
Yeah, it can be can be sometimes, but we don't really miss too much. Like but we don't have set days or anything. So some weeks we go, does Tuesday work? Nah. Does Wednesday work? Yeah. And we just kind of go with that. But yeah, we seem to have plenty of time together still to be able to do it all.
Yeah, it's been good.
So I wonder if Connor never returned your pedal, would we have my deceased estate? That's the question, probably. No.
I don't reckon we would.
I feel like
we'd end up in another band together.
We would have ended up in another band somehow. Yeah, somehow. Yeah. No, I would have still been doing what I was doing, and maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we never really started out the band to start out the band, so it sort of happened. So
I've got to be honest, that is the craziest story of how a band formed that I've actually ever heard on an interview. And I thought the one about a few months ago where the band was looking for the lead singer and they kept messaging them through Messenger and wondered why he wouldn't respond. And he hadn't put his notifications on. I think yours has now taken the cake of having to return someone's instrument or equipment back to him, and then the band started. That's now going to be hard to top, I reckon.
Actually, that session too, we wrote Why in that session.
Yeah, that's when I first saw.
Yeah, we did Why, and we did another one of our tracks called Meltdown. And they were like, we play every gig, and it starts with Why, into Meltdown. So the first 2 songs we wrote are the first 2 we play every gig.
Because they have the most meaning, because they're the 2 that were wrote in that first jam session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm finding out a lot about my deceased estate already that I did not know anything about.
Yeah, we're kind of mysterious. Yeah.
I like mysterious. I like bands where you don't know what's going to happen with them in the next few years, or I love the bands that don't have a set genre as well. I think the whole different genres thing, I think that's good, because if you say you sound like this genre of music or this band, then you're not really leaving yourself open to other suggestions or experiments. And I think, yeah, my deceased estate with some of the influences, Young Blood and Story of the Year, I can see both of those in my deceased estate, but I can't actually think of any others that I'd put in that influences area.
You had to be dropping next stuff.
Yeah. Our next singles, it's got like well, we called it Rave Gravy.
Rave Gravy.
That was the working demo title. Connor just sent me a trap beat one day, like a trappy, dancey kind of beat, and we're just like, oh yeah. And then we put some guitar to it and made it a bit more rocky. And then when we did the vocals, I had this real like spoken word idea for it that I wanted to get, but we couldn't do it. It just didn't work. So now I'm doing like almost deathcore vocals, screaming over a dance music.
Pretty much, it's rave music.
Yeah, it's a proper
very
ravey kind of thing.
A lot of, like, just weird Spotify playlists with like just German rave music and stuff, and yeah, I was really getting into doing a bit of sampling at the time, so there's a fair few samples in it, and just then it's got a little My Deceased Estate twinge to it, and
then we've got another one that's almost finished as well, and that's like lo-fi trap.
Yeah, so it's pretty much an emo rap sort of.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know, Trippy Red,
like
his name, yeah, sort of stuff. Like it's
Trippy Red, yeah.
They're trying not to really be defined too much by genre. I guess it's all sort of, apart from that song, it's probably all got a bit of a metal twinge to it, though. I think.
Yeah,
but yeah, still not to sound like We're the band. Like it still has like a My Deceased Estate sound to it, but sort of. I mean, I love bands that do that sort of stuff, though. Like, I love King Gizzard and those bands that jump between, like, all the genres, you know? I think it's cool as, so.
Oh, yes, old King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Oh, I got that wrong, I think. Is it King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard or Wizard Lizard? I'd never get it right.
Oh, yeah, Lizard Wizard.
Lizard Wizard, yeah.
Oh, bow, strike one.
Now, if they're watching and we got that wrong, we're fucking sorry, all right?
Yeah.
And Sam should really do his research on how to say the band King Gizzard and get it right for the next time it comes up in conversation. They're a very interesting band, King Gizzard. I mean, when I first heard, I think it might have been Gamma Knife, I reckon was the first King Gizzard song I heard. I'm like, okay, what is this? Because it sounds totally different to anything I've ever heard before, which is a good thing.
First song I heard was Rattlesnake.
Ah, yes.
So, like, you listen to it and you just go, is it good or is it bad? But why do I like it so much? And why has it got 500 million views?
Well, it shows that someone likes it, obviously.
Yeah, they're so strange but so interesting.
Yeah, I think I watched them the first time when I was at Falls, and I don't even know if they had the album out with Gamma Knife on it yet, and they clashed with Paul Kelly, who was one of the headliners. So they played on the side stage, and I didn't know who they were at the time, and they came out and they started sound checking by making like animal noises with heaps of delay on it into the microphone, and there was like 8 of them or whatever there is, and I was like, 2 drummers on stage. I was like, I'm not going to watch Paul Kelly. I'm staying to watch whatever this is. Like, I have no idea what it's going to be, but And we've like probably only like 100 people there because everyone's going to watch Paul Kelly. And I was like, nah, cool. See what happens here. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So looked him up after that.
I like that, a sound check with noise sounds, but that
Yeah.
makes sense given that the lizard is in the title of the band. So they're not the only band with a animal in their title that has king in it as well. Obviously, King Stingray and King Parrot were the other two I was referring to then, and they done pretty well for themselves, both of those bands. And King Gizzard is certainly up there with those bands and plenty more.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, different styles of music, all three of those as well. Metal and whatever King Gizzard is, indie, pop, psychedelic rock. I don't know what you'd call it, actually.
Just everything. What is your genre? Yes.
How did you come up with the band name, My Deceased Estate?
Well, I don't really know how Connor came up with it, but he messaged it to me and he said, "What do you think of the band name Deceased Estate?" And initially I went, "Hate it." But then, because I was mainly thinking about if we play gigs, are people going to see the band name? And with the content of music that we had at that stage, I was like, are people going to expect it like something really heavy or something in like all over the place? Are we going to get gigs with a band name like that? And then I made the addition I said we should put the word "my" at the start, because if we're going for this kind of emo style, it kind of gives me the My Chemical Romance vibes. Yeah. How did you come up with Deceased Estate?
I don't know, actually. I think, I don't know, to be honest. I feel like I would have just been scrolling on my phone and probably saw, something about a deceased estate or something. And then
That's my band.
I thought that's a good band name. At the time, obviously, we didn't have a band name. I think we were literally had pretty much recorded why by this point. So, like, we actually needed to come up with a band name.
Yeah, I think we had.
Because, like, we can't really release a song if we don't have a name for it. So,
No.
but, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
The other thing with finding a band name is one that's not taken.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like you quickly get on like Spotify and start searching all these names, and you clear up. All right, there's already 5 bands called this.
Because there was a band, who was it, from Adelaide a few years ago. Now they have obviously now called themselves Signals AUS, but they actually had to turn the A upside down to a V because there was a band Signals Overseas. And now obviously they're Signals AUS, so that clears that up. But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of bands with Signals in the title, but not as just one word band.
Yeah, well, it must happen a lot. I know it's how Blink 182 is why it's Blink 182, because they were Blink and there was another band called Blink, so they had to change their name, so they just used the random number generator to get the 182.
And you don't want to get into the copyright sector. That's
no.
So the question now, I wonder, like, you can't have a sound band name or a sample as a song. What happens if a venue's the same name as one of the songs? Like, for example, I know it's no longer open in Victoria anymore, but Whole Lot of Love is a song by Led Zeppelin. There was Whole Lot of Love Bar in Melbourne. I guess if they're not making royalties off Led Zeppelin, then obviously it's not an issue. But I wonder with that case, is there any copyright or infringement?
I think because songs aren't trademarked, like you can have more than you can name your song anything. Like there's multiple, like, Know Your Enemy, Rage Against the Machine, and Green Day. So I think, you're probably going to be in trouble if you called it the Led Zeppelin bar.
Yeah.
But I think you're right with, because it's not trademarked, usually song names.
No. And there's also a bar in Melbourne called Bad Decisions, which is also a very well-known song by Red Hawk. But
Red Hawk,
again, yeah, if they called it the Red Hawk bar, then there might be some issues, but Bad Decisions, actually a lot of bands have done Bad Decisions as a song. I was thinking more Australian, obviously. Did Bad Omens do a bad? No, Bad Omens. Why do I think Bad Omens did Bad Decisions? Wrong band.
No. I feel like I got a similar song name though. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Who knows?
So we've gone from what have we gone from King Gizzard to
Bad
Bad
Omens.
Omens to Led Zeppelin. Who's next on the list of bands completely different genres?
Oh, we've got plenty.
What has the response been like for Fake?
Yeah, Fake's well, for me, it's been one of the better received songs out of any band I've been in. People have just messaged and been like, "Well, that's different to what you normally do," but I like it, and yeah, that's been my experience with it so far. In terms of live, it's been our best song live as well. I normally drop the guitar for it and jump into the crowd and have a little bit of a run around with everyone in the crowd and scream at people I don't know and whatnot, and that's going down really well at the live show. So yeah, it's probably our best received song.
I like when vocalists do that, jump down in the crowd, and sometimes they take the microphone with them or the guitar, but 9 times out of 10, it's just them in the mosh pit, just screaming at people.
Yeah, pretty much. The first time I did it, we had I was freaking out because I've never done it before. I'm like, oh yeah, see how this goes. And all I remember is someone saying to me after the gig, "I seen you put the guitar down and thought, fuck yeah, shit's about to get real." I said, oh, yeah, so I didn't even know what I was going to do. That's how crazy we are. And yeah, the first time we just had people like they were just here, and I was just looking at people I didn't know and was just doing the song, and I'd scream at one person, scream at another, and it went down really well. And then last gig that we had, I sat the microphone down and ran into the pit, and we started the circle pit. And I ran in and jumped in with a few of the other bands that were in there, and then was thinking, hang on a second, the vocals are about to start again. I better get back up. And yeah, still stayed down there while they were doing the big, running around and throwing each other around and stuff. And I'm just going, hope someone doesn't fall over me and whatever. But yeah, it's real. It's fun. It's fun to do it.
Yeah, I haven't been in many mosh pits of late, but I've seen some weird and crazy shit the last few months I've been to gigs, and some stuff I'd never thought I'd see at live music, some funny stuff and some weird fucked up shit.
Yeah, you haven't seen Tassie's live scene yet. Tassie's live scene's got some very interesting characters.
I need to get into state. I keep saying it, but it's like, where do I start? Do I go to Tassie? Do I go to New South Wales? Do I go to South Australia? Like, there's bands everywhere. It's sort of hard to narrow it down.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Every state's got some bands that are just really showing off right now, like going really well.
Mm.
Mm.
Even ACT. I mean, I for so long only thought Hands Like Houses were from Canberra, and then I found out Saint Sinners also from Canberra, and quite a few other bands were like, how did I not know these bands were from the ACT?
Yeah,
But
I've played a gig in Canberra before. Let's try to think. I can't remember who we played with, but I just remember we played at the basement in Canberra, and there was a little like room out the back that we played in, and in their main room, they had a Silverchair tribute band playing,
wow.
and they were so good. I thought it was actually Silverchair rehearsing. I was there just going, holy shit, because the guy actually looked a bit like him as well. And I was thinking, we're playing next to Silverchair. I thought, fuck yeah, this is great.
Daniel Johns is in the other room, and I'm playing at the same venue.
Yeah. I sat down, had a burger, and watched, and thought, fuck, our set's in 20 minutes. I better go back. Canberra's the bands we played with up there were really good. I just can't remember what they were called. That was about 10 years ago now, I reckon.
The basement seems to be the go-to place in Canberra as well. Lots of international bands have played there. A lot of the heavy hitters in Australia have played there as well.
That's a really nice venue. Yeah, it's really nice.
Mm. And tribute bands, another topic. There are some absolute gems, and then there's some that I've seen that are like, trying too hard. But sounds like that one, Jarrod, sounded like it was actually Silverchair, so that's a positive look on it.
Mm. No, they were amazing, definitely.
Because yeah, I'm a massive Silverchair fan. Growing up in the '90s, anything off Frog Stomp, Neon
Yeah.
Ballroom, Freak Show, even Diorama to a degree. All amazing albums, and boys out of Newcastle. I mean, great to see regional Australian bands making it big, like Silverchair, Trophy Eyes, Alpha Wolf. There's a whole list. Ocean Sleeper from down my neck of the woods. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah.
Now, on to the story of how I discovered my deceased estate, because this is how I also found Tidewalker and quite a few other bands. It's called a playlist on Spotify called Tassie Tunes something to blast, tunes to blast. So it's Tassie Tunes to Blast 2, and it had Fake by My Deceased Estate at the actual top of the list.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I reckon that happened around about when we released it, I reckon. So I remember the first time you ever tagged us in a post. I remember it popping up and thinking, sweet, someone's seen our song. And I think that was probably like a week after we released it.
Yeah, generally, that's actually slow on Sam's behalf, actually, Jared, because it's normally the day of the song being
Day of the
released. But no, it was only about a week after Fake was released. And as I mentioned, that's where I found Sword Bros, that's where I found Scatterbrain and Tidewalker, among other bands. And it's just like, all right, because for me, Alpha Wolf, Luca Brasi, Psychroptic, Drenched, those were probably the four Tassie bands I knew before I saw that list.
Yep.
And now I'm like, all right, now I've got to check out this list. Because if My Deceased Estate are at the top, and that's how fucking awesome that sounds, what's the rest of the list going to sound like if that's what we're starting with?
Mm. Yeah, there's some really good producers down here and some really good bands. Like you said, Tidewalker, they're just phenomenal. The band called Tranquility Unknown down here at the moment's going off their heads. They've just released an album, and that's like, I don't have any words to explain it. It's just that good. But there's just heaps down here, and they're all local as well. Like they all live in our area, and Tassie's a small place. Like we all know each other. I know someone did mentioned on a podcast with you about the Tassie Heavy Chat that we have. And I think we've got like 119 people just in this one chat, and we all just get in there, and sometimes it's people talking about music, sometimes it's cat memes.
The old cat memes.
Yeah, but Tasmania is and like we said before, in the last probably 4 or 5 years, how well everything's going down here. I feel like the musicians, as a community now, everyone's a lot more supportive of each other and more willing to open, like to work with different bands, and everyone wants to see what other people are creating whilst doing their own thing as well. And bands like Ty Walker, Kelly specifically from Ty Walker was part of the reason that movement started, I think. And yeah, it's right place, right time for us for all that sort of stuff.
That's also the right attitude to have with this heavy music chat, group. It's like, it's not us against them. You're all in it for the right reason to help each other out. And especially, as you said, Jared, in Tasmania, which is a lot smaller state than, say, New South Wales or even a Victoria, if you're all on the same page, if you're all there to help, it goes a long way to keeping the scene the way it is, because I know there are people out there that obviously don't have that idea of what the scene should look like, that everyone's helping out everyone else, but you will be found out if you are doing it for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
100%. I think that, yeah, and the chat's crazy, right? You have any music question, you just bang it in there, and someone will give you the answer or message you separately. It's pretty
Mm.
crazy, I think. Yeah, but it seems to be like a bit of a tight knit community at the moment. I think, especially the heavier scene. I guess. I guess like we probably on the edge of not really being that heavy, but I mean, I think people's. I don't know. I reckon like you go back 10, 15 years, people like if you liked heavy music, a lot of people exclusively only listen to soup. I know I'm not really like the biggest heavy music person, so like stuff I'd listen to and be like, this is the heaviest thing I've ever heard in my life. But now I think like you know, like a lot of people listen to a lot more diverse range, and it's pretty good for us anyway. Getting advice with stuff, and
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
So we've opened for some bands that we really shouldn't have opened for down here. We like
We're gonna play an E standard. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. we've got one ballad in the set where half the song's almost acoustic, and yeah, our set's so much different to the bands down here. In some of the places that we've played, but it's cool too because then we can actually, when we're playing with all the heavy bands, we just play our songs heavier, and I just scream a bit harder and I try and fit in a bit more. But then when we're playing with the other, like the lesser heavy bands, and trying to play more like a pop punky gig or something like that, then we lean more into that a bit, and it creates a challenge in both areas for us. But yeah, some of the bands that we've played with, like we play and then the next band plays and we just go, fuck, why did we open for them? Like, not yeah, like we love doing it. I'd open for anyone. Like I'm so happy just doing what we're doing and that, and seeing all the new bands coming through, and I love heavy music, so I'd play with anyone just as long as they're happy to have a lesser heavy band open for them. So that's where we're at with it all.
I think also the diversity in having a sort of change up of bands opening or different genres on the lineup, so a mixed lineup instead of it all being heavy or all being punk. I actually like that dynamic of having a different band to the others on the lineup. I think it just, I don't know, brings more people in, and it happened last year. I was at a gig. This was at the Leadbeater in Melbourne, which is one of the venues, and 99.9% of the bands that were playing were metal bands, but the last band, or second last band, was like an alternative indie rock band. And I was like, so I can sort of see they were sort of throwing in one sort of to mix it up because I love metal, don't get me wrong, but that night was pretty heavy and like I would love to have had something that was in there that was a bit different to the others, and there was. So I like the mixed lineups. I think it's a great way to or get more people to gigs as well.
I think so too. I think too, it's like, I don't know, I really like it personally because I feel like if I was going to sit down and listen to music, I'm not listening to 2 hours straight of the same genre, which is probably what you're doing if you go into a 4 band bill. So it's nice to like break it up a little bit.
Mm. But I'm sort of with Jared. Most of my music is heavy, but there is some stuff that I listen to that is not even close to what you'd call heavy metal. So it's a mixed bag.
I can happily say I listen to a little bit of the Bieber.
Oh, like
Yeah.
good. Oh, good.
I'll put my hand up. I do like. I'm very very diverse with music. Um, One Direction, but I like some of their stuff. For me, it's just I like heavy music more. It's just more fun to play.
All right, if we're going guilty pleasures, Connor, do you have a guilty pleasure that's something different?
I'd say we're pretty bad for when we play in Hobart. We have to drive down and back normally on the same day, which is about 3.5 hours each way because someone always has to work the next morning if it's Jarrod or Dave or someone. So yeah, Dave, a great man. He doesn't mind a bit of top 40 pop, old top 40 pop though. You know, we'll share a bit of the Veronicas together on the way down. Bit of Evanescence, just.
Yeah, that's totally different, but nothing wrong with either Evanescence or the
No, we're
Veronicas.
making a joke. It must have been the last gig we played. We're opening for Tranquility Unknown. When we got to the venue, and I said to Dave, I said, "Do you reckon anyone else listens to me, Kylie, on the way down?" And he's like, "Nah, I don't reckon we should tell anyone either."
Oh, well, the funniest thing, people have probably seen it on Facebook or seen me mention it on another YouTube channel that no longer is going along, but it's still fun to watch back. I did mention I have a bit of a guilty pleasure that is Backstreet Boys, and the guest we interviewed goes, "Gee, that's a step up what you're listening to now from Backstreet Boys to metal." I'm like, yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head because it's the least thing from metal, literally.
The crazy thing is, most pop songs can be turned into metal so easily. Like there's some pretty good cover bands out there at the moment that do like they heavy it up like Fame and Fire and Our Last Night, and then they take the songs and they play them exactly how they are intended to be played, and then just add metal components to it, and
Yeah.
then the vocalist, he screams a bit, he sings a bit, they've got double kicks in there, and yeah, but then the songs are like, because they're all so catchy as it is, but then when you turn it metal, it's like, oh yeah, this is really cool now.
Because I was showing someone Toxic by Wind Waker because they go, "Oh, I know this song." I'm like, "It's not by Britney Spears." And they're like, "Oh, it's not." I'm like, "No, this is going to get loud." And they're like, "How loud?" And they heard the chorus and like, yeah, maybe should have warned them a bit sooner that Wind Waker do have the tendency to scream.
Yeah. Wind Waker, yeah. Whatever their last release was, that's insane.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called off the top of my
Not
head.
Victory Lap, was it?
Yeah,
Or-
Victory Lap, that's
yeah.
it.
I love that song.
That's sick.
Actually, I'm a massive Wind Waker fan. I think
Mm.
that album before Victory Lap with like Sirens and Get Out and Fractured State of Mind and that was just
Yeah.
something else.
They're a good live band too. I seen them at Knotfest a few years ago. Yeah, really, really good.
And of course, Sam had a bit of a interesting encounter with Wind Waker. Not bad or anything, but I didn't realise Chris, the drummer from Wind Waker, at a gig was standing right behind me and messages me after the show going, "Were you at this gig?" I'm like, "Oh shit." I walked straight past you, didn't I? It's like, I think we crossed paths but didn't realise who each other were. I'm like, oh shit. How many times I've done that at shows? It's just embarrassing. And I feel like, oh, I love Wind Waker and would have loved to have chatted to Chris, but because I hadn't seen him, a picture of him, I actually didn't know what Chris looked like. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it happens.
But no, if you haven't checked out Wind Waker, check them out and check out Victory Lap because that is a fucking good song.
Mm.
All right, best review or feedback yourself or the band has received.
We get some pretty cooked reviews in Tassie. Like most of the reviews are just people just going, "You guys are fucking sick." I'm just trying to think of it. There would be a funny story. I'm just blanking right now. Have you got any? Nah. I know about. I remember that guy, the one I was saying before when I put the guitar down. He just goes, "Oh yeah, shit's about to get real."
Oh, actually, no, I do have one. We played a gig and someone said we sound like Enter Shikari.
Yeah,
and I'd
that's
never
right.
heard of them before, so I went home and looked them up, and that was a real rabbit hole. I like, what's the song called? With the
Oh,
The
sorry,
hand-
you're not a winner.
Sorry,
No.
yeah.
I'd heard
Yeah.
that before. Like, I probably had that on like an iPad shuffle. iPod shuffle when I was like a child. But I was like, oh, that song. I forgot about those guys. So, well, I didn't really know who they were, to be fair, and they're huge. And I looked it up, and that's been a real rabbit hole. I'm like, yeah, I think some of our stuff probably just sound a bit like that, which is crazy because, like, obviously not really deliberately trying to be influenced by them because they didn't have any idea who they were, but. There you go.
Actually,
I'm a big Enter Shikari fan.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Oh, yeah, I am now too.
Yeah.
that. Sorry You're Not a Winner's arguably my personal favourite song that actually drew me to Enter Shikari, because I remember, sort of similar to what Connor was saying, it might have turned up on like an iPod Shuffle or an iPod. Gee, people are probably thinking, what the fuck's an iPod? Because it's showing my age. But
And they were crazy technology for the time.
you know, the old 5 gig, you had the 10, and then there was the 32.
No screen, you just press next and hope you got a song you liked.
Yeah. I remember, this is going way back on these really old iPods. I remember you had the songs, then you had like shuffle, and then there was a thing like called quiz or something, and you could actually go into that. The song plays, and then you've got options of what song it is, and you'd click on it, and it just kept going through your list. It's like trying to test you if you knew what was on your actual playlist, which I thought was actually quite creative. It might have only been my iPod. There were millions of others that were created, so they might not have had them. But yeah. Anyway, that's my story. And iPods, gee, we're going really nostalgic, aren't we? But
Wait till we bring out the Nokias.
oh, gee. Oh, the old flip phone, you know.
I remember back in the day, being obsessed with being able to make ringtones on a Nokia 3315. And
Wow.
like, I remember there was a site you could go to, and it would tell you how to make I made a Green Day one. I remember doing Green Day American Idiot. But it told you on your phone how to make it on your Nokia 3315. You go in this ringtone maker app. Sometimes they'd sound close to it. Sometimes they sound like shit. But yeah, I remember being obsessed with that. Like even before being into music.
Wow. I sort of vaguely remember that. The whole thing with the Nokia 3315, that, yeah, you could make your own ringtone. But yeah, it's funny how far technology has come from what Jarrod was saying about making your own ringtone to now. I mean, phones having cameras, phones having everything literally on them nearly.
Some people even use their phones to record now, like actually record and produce music and stuff. I know Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. He put out a album a couple of years ago, and all the guitars on there he recorded using his voice notes, and then just uploaded them to his software, and then just overproduced them. But he originally started with them being in his voice notes.
I'm trying to think what album that was. Was that the one with oh, there's that song they did with Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the
Yeah,
Horizon. Let's get this party started or something.
yeah, that album, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a song he's got Chester featuring on as well, from memory.
Oh yeah, from Lincoln Park, sadly, who passed away 7, 8 years ago now. Actually, that's the
8 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, when I heard that collaboration with Bring Me the Horizon, I'm like, Tom Morello and Ollie Sykes is like gold.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's great. But that song specifically that's where I knew that fact about the that being recorded in the voice notes and then being uploaded to his software and then producing it and making it sound like that.
And he's pretty good at what he does, Tom Morello, so he can do anything, literally. Rage Against the Machine, Audio Slave. He was part of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. He's guitared for heaps of musicians and bands. That's the reunion I just want to happen, but it ain't going to happen, Rage Against the Machine. Not here in Australia, anyway.
That'd be a good one, that one. I've always wanted to see Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
My number one reunion would be Silverchair. If that ever happens, you've heard it here first. I'll quit my job to go to Silverchair.
I've got to be honest, Jarrod. I think that's more likely than Rage Against the Machine. Now, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that, but given they're from Australia and
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like, it's too late for Frog Stomp 30th anniversary. Maybe 30 years of Freak Show, maybe in 2 years' time, a reunion of that album, maybe. I don't know.
I reckon there are sneaky good things every year. I've got a sneaky feeling that Silverchair could be one of those bands eventually.
There's,
Hopefully.
there's been some good nostalgia bands over the last couple of years of good things, because Tism was 2022.
Yeah.
Was it Violent Femmes last year, I think it was?
I think it was last year, yeah.
Yeah.
And the year before was it NoFX?
That was the same year as Tism, I reckon. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Was Tism and NoFX the same one as Bring Me the Horizon and Callboy, or am I thinking wrong one?
I think that was Bring Me the Horizon, Deftones.
Ah.
Yeah, Tism, because I went and watched I remember just being, who did I see then? It was like Sleeping with Sirens or Electric Callboy was on the smaller stage. That particular year, yeah, I was way away from where Tism were, so I missed that.
Oh, I've got regret for that. Good things that I missed No Effects because Sam stupidly decided to go and get dinner when No Effects were playing. I thought I'd be 5 minutes, grab my meal, I'll go watch No Effects. Try 50 minutes later.
Yeah,
Bad mistake there. But no, that was a sick lineup. I've been to, how many have I been to? 3, 4 good things. 3, I think. Trying to think which ones, because yeah, went to 20. I went to the first one 20. Was I 2019? I can't remember. Been to that many gigs. It's trying to remember all of them. Because I volunteered at the first one, and that was like Offspring, Dropkick Murphys, The Used, Bullet, I think, were there as well. It was a pretty sick lineup. Are you going to good things this year? Is the question.
No, I'm working.
The lineup, I don't want to sound harsh, but half the lineup I've already seen, and only 2 bands I want to see that I haven't seen is Machine Head and Garbage, and it's like, well, I'm not paying $260 for 2 bands.
Yeah. No, so sometimes the lineups that happens. I know there was one a couple of years ago. I'm just trying to think. The Knotfest that Bad Omens pulled out of. I went to the Knotfest to see Bad Omens, and we rocked up at the gate, and they pulled out because he had vocal issues in Sydney.
That's right.
But I was very lucky because I seen they were playing a sideshow, and they played a sideshow in Brisbane, and we got VIP entry for it.
Oh wow!
So we got to see Bad Omens play at, might have been the Triffid in Brisbane. There was either, whichever venue it was small. It would have been 500 people there, and we got to actually see him in like a proper. You won't see him in a venue that small again in Australia.
No.
Real nice intimate show. It was really cool. But then, yeah, I went to the Knotfest, and the one band I was going for didn't play.
Oh, it's annoying when that happens, and there were a lot of people disappointed. The Melbourne one, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to see Bad Omens, and then on the day of the actual festival, it's like, oh, Bad Omens have pulled out due to vocal issues, and like, no. But yeah, that was the first Knotfest too, I believe, because Parkway and Trivium were there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was still a good day. Like, I still went and still watched all the bands. I like going and finding bands that you haven't heard of, and that's how I found Gloom in the Corners one. Like a local, I think they're Gold Coast based or Brisbane based, but I think they play Good Things up there, and I was at the stage waiting for Red Hook, and I'm pretty sure Gloom in the Corner played before them.
Wow!
And I just remember just standing there going, I don't know what's going on right now, but this is awesome. And then they played a show down here as well in Tassie. They played with Tidewalker, and that was a really cool show as well.
Oh, I love Gloom. Speaking of bands dropping new music in the last week, Gloom dropped Assassination Run on Thursday. I'll get my days right. I think.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I've missed that one.
Interesting bit of information about Gloom in the Corner. The drummer from the Gloom in the Corner is Melbourne's answer to Dave Grohl. He literally jumps on any band if they need a drummer for a fill-in. His name's Josh Clinch. Now, I reckon he has drummed for that many bands at one stage or another in Melbourne that I think Gloom are just thinking, let's just get him on permanently.
Yep.
And of course, Jesse from Gloom in the Corner's also the bassist in Silverfang as well, if people were wondering. But I'm massive Gloom. That album with Ronan and New Order, Trinity, that was sick as. But I have seen Gloom. I saw him in Traralgon actually, my neck of the woods, a couple of years ago. That was a stacked lineup. It was Ocean Sleeper, Atlas, Outloved, Gloom in the Corner, I've missed a band, Clay J. Gladstone, all for like $20. I'm like, I'm not fucking missing this lineup.
Good price.
But all right, well, we've talked about bands we've seen live and, want to see live and reunion. Now the question is, who would my deceased estate like to support or open for? Any band?
Anti Shikari.
Well, probably going to Shikari now. I mean, probably open for anyone that's any chance to play on a big stage or something. But that'd be pretty cool. Actually, well, I reckon Pendulum would be sick. I reckon they're one of the first bands I listened to and was like, you can put electronic music to rock music. That album with Witchcraft and all that on it. That was my first sort of glimpse into, would have been like 14 or 15 when that came out. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. You can play. So I remember when I was growing up, my dad, he learned piano lessons. He's always been playing back in the day. And it was such a bad instrument to learn because he felt like he couldn't, he listened to rock music and had piano lessons as a kid and, couldn't play anything to it. And then, he sort of like all this stuff started coming out in like probably the late 2000s. Like late 90s, 2000s, and it's like, oh, now you can do something with that. So, so I reckon Shikari or Pendulum, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, we'd probably get blown out the water, but it'd be a bad experience.
Now, would you do a dream collaboration if you played with Pendulum with the ABC theme song? Because a lot of people might not know that Pendulum at one stage actually did the ABC theme song.
Yeah, that was cool as.
That's the thing I straight up remember about Pendulum. Like, everyone's like, what about Witchcraft? What about the early stuff? I'm like, no, ABC. That's what
I think the first Pendulum song I heard was actually the cover of the Prodigy, Voodoo People.
Oh.
Yeah, because like I was like as a kid, Dad was a massive Prodigy fan. Had what's that album called? Like Firestarter and Diesel Power and all that on it.
Is that
I can't remember the name
Fat
of it.
of the Land with
something like that, and it's got Breathe on it.
Yeah,
it had that on a CD, my Walkman, and it got played on repeat. So I guess they're probably pretty big influence too, or someone want to play with, like like sort of like rock meets electronica. Pretty cool. Love the drum sounds on those albums too.
I think, Fat of the Land at my house, growing up as a kid, my brother was a massive Chemical Brothers and Prodigy fan. So if it was a week, like every week, I reckon I heard Smack My Bitch Up or Breathe about 50 times a week. Look, don't get me wrong, I love both those songs, but after about the 20th spin, I'm like, oh, come on, there's 8 other tracks on Fat of the Land. Can we get to them?
I just would have liked to think what my dad was thinking when I would be like 6 singing along to Smack the Bitch Up, not knowing what a bitch is, just thinking, like, this is cool as. Mum not being overly impressed, but
It's not the only song that has a swear word in the title of it on Fatherland, funnily enough. Funky Shit was the other one I was referring to. But, no, very controversial video clip. I would suggest if people have a weak stomach, probably don't watch the Smack My Bitch Up video clip. But I think it got banned in like 10 or 15 countries on MTV because of what the video clip is about, obviously.
Probably fair.
I don't think I've seen it.
No, because I was wondering why Rage would never play the video clip. Like, they play Breathe. I'm like, gee, Breathe's even. Like, should this be played during the day at like 9 a.m.? And then I watched Smack My Bitch Up. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe Breathe is suitable compared to the other video clip. But what was the album before Fatherland that had the No Good Start the Dance and I can see the album cover. That's I've gone completely blank. My mind's fried, I think, not knowing the first album Prodigy put out. But then they did the one with Omen like 10 years after Fatherland, and that was certainly worth the wait.
Yeah, that's a sick album. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've only really got two more questions to ask because we've seemed to have covered so much stuff. So, where do you see my deceased estate in 5 years' time?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to keep it going. That's always important. I don't know. My goal would be to play support to some bigger bands down here, and just be a part of just slightly bigger shows down here would be like a goal. Maybe go to the mainland and do a few shows over there somewhere, and I'd like to achieve that in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really got any goals set. I mean, we've got these songs to put out. We haven't really done much for a bit, just because we've all been super busy. We keep telling everyone it's cow season because we haven't been playing gigs because Dave can't go from the farm while they're calving. So
Cow season.
we're having a bit of break over cow season. So we've got some music we're sitting on to release, but we've just been waiting till we can play some shows around the time to put it out. But yeah, I hope we're just still doing it and it's still just as fun as it is now, regardless of really what stage we're playing on. It'd be cool to play some bigger gigs, but if we're not, we're still having a heap of fun doing what we're doing, then I'll be pretty happy with that too.
I think that's very important, having fun and still enjoying what you're doing, because at the end of the day, bands aren't in it for the money, because making money as an artist or a band, yes, there are bands that do make money when they become big, like the Parkways and the Bring Me's and that, but yeah, for local up and coming bands and artists, the pay is shit. And Sam might get into more dissing of Spotify. I've done that to death, so
Yeah, I guess yeah, I think with that my biggest thing is just it's gotta be fun. Like, I've played in bands before where it stopped being fun and I kept doing it. And then when I reflect back on it, once I'm not in the band anymore, I'm like, I actually don't know why I kept doing that for so long. Like, as soon as it wasn't fun, I'm not sure why. Like, I kept doing it for ages. So it's sort of like, this band's been fun the whole time. So, yeah, just keep doing it while it's fun. But I can't see why it wouldn't be because, yeah, we sort of just all get on real good and sort of, yeah, it's a good creative outlet.
We don't have anyone in the band that wants to push it so far that's like impossible for like now. Like band that I was in a few years ago, like some of the expectations were just too high, and there's all of us. We're just like, oh yeah, we've got a gig on Friday night. Yep, cool. There's no real expectations. If we got the opportunity to play bigger shows, like we do it, we'd smash it. But like we're we miss out on anything. We apply for stuff and we miss out on it. We don't get disappointed. We just move on to the next thing.
It's a good way of looking at it too, because if you miss out on something and you dwell on it for too long, the next opportunity could be right around the corner, and you could be accepted for that, like maybe supporting a local band or a bigger international band. I think very important to pick up, move on, work with what you've got, and then, yeah, see what happens.
That's right.
Pretty well.
Not that Sam is speaking from experience, because Sam is not in a band. Jarrod and Connor are actually people who can speak of that experience because they're in a band. Sam's just going on what I've heard from other friends that are in bands that have said exactly what Jarrod and Connor have both said. And yeah, I'm not copywriting what they say, obviously.
In saying that, though,
My
like,
words are trademark.
definitely, like you're playing projects where I guess every band has a different dynamic. Like, and there's nothing wrong with people who have like it set out real to like, push it a lot more than we are. But I think the real key thing that works for us is that everyone is just on the same page of what is it the band, and like, because I think that's pretty important. Like the band dynamic. You see so many bands start and they put out like nothing or a song or two, and you're like, they were great, and then in 12 months' time they don't exist, and it's like,
Yeah.
just because someone was like set out for world domination and 4 people weren't. And you see stories of that all the time, and yeah.
Both here. Oh, sorry, Jarrod.
I was about to say, I was in a band a few years ago, and I always enjoyed the music, but there was this one song that we kept going back to like try and write it. And I'm pretty sure there was only one person in the band that liked it and everyone else hated it. But we tried and we tried and we tried and we tried and we tried with it. And like I couldn't stand it. I hated it. And I'm pretty sure that was the overall feeling, but like we just kept going back to it. Whereas with these guys, if something happens and we go, oh, yeah, so one person says I don't like this, we just drop it and then just do something that we do like. Like everyone's got to enjoy the content. Everyone's got to. When you play live, you can't be sitting on stage and playing something that you don't want to play. Like our shows, I feel like our live shows, we have a good live show because we enjoy the songs that we're actually playing. We're not getting up there and it doesn't feel robotic, and we're not playing the same thing over and over again. And it's exciting for us on stage as well as for the people in the crowd. It's not just people getting up on stage and playing stuff because they have to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like we really try not to it sounds bad, but we try not to over practice our live set to a degree. Like if we haven't got shows coming up, we'll just write new material or jam or do like, don't want to just be playing the same songs. We just don't want to be in a band where it's like every Wednesday we get together and just play the same 10 songs we wrote 3 years ago.
And what's crazy is we can not rehearse for like 3 months, and then someone could ask us to play a gig next week. And we'll have a jam on Wednesday and we'll smash it. And like it's the best we've ever played it. We just seem to have that we all know what each other's thinking and doing, and if someone makes a mistake, we don't even need to make eye contact. I can hear in the way Connor's drumming if he's done something wrong. You'll just hear something bringing it back in. And we kind of the same with me. If I start playing something different, we all kind of just know, but we also have a natural ability to be able to then just bring it back. I don't think anyone would know. We know, but if that makes sense.
Yeah, like it totally makes sense, because I think, I hear a lot of bands that get off stage that I see and they say, oh, we fucked up on this or something went wrong. I'm like, really? I wouldn't have even known, because firstly, I don't play an instrument. Secondly, you probably covered up so well, no one in the crowd would have even noticed. So, I mean, I give anyone credit for getting up on stage and playing drums, guitar, singing. There's no fucking way I'll ever do it, but I do respect everyone else that does do it.
Yeah, it's I used to play in a band where the guy would always play, and he'd always like the whole gig would always just be reflected upon how good you played or whatever. And I feel like it's so like not our motto. Our motto is pretty much like it's not how good we played. It's pretty much like how much fun did you have like once you got off stage. Like they don't really look back at gigs and be like, yeah, that was our best gig ever. Look back at gigs and like, yeah, that was a really fun night. I think that's probably a good way to do it.
Fun. Very key 3-letter word. Fun and enjoyment is, if you take that out of the gig and people have had a great time, then that's the most important thing.
Yeah, you'd rather play a gig and make, 20 mistakes and it was like a wicked night and play, not make one mistake and have a shit time.
No, very, very valid points there. And the last question is, what advice would you give to bands and artists starting out?
I have one. I was thinking about this through the week actually when Jarrod sent me the questions. I reckon one, and I've been guilty of this in many bands I've played in, is just get a crap setup, record it, and put something out when you're starting. Because there's so many bands who just don't put anything out. We have, well, between us, we don't really have any. I didn't do music in really anything growing up. Like, didn't push it further. Don't really know any theory. Didn't do any music recording at school. And we bought an iPad. I got a Fortescue 2-channel secondhand with one channel that doesn't even work. And we recorded the first 3 songs with nothing apart from a 58 on free software. So, like, I feel like there's not really, like, we just use GarageBand, use a Scarlett interface, and I mean, it's obviously not the best produced thing of all time, but I don't think you can really tell the difference that much if you just watch a few YouTube videos, TikToks. Like, technology's crazy these days. You can just like go on TikTok anything. Like, I did not know how to mix anything, and I'd be like, "Why does this sound like this?" into TikTok, and it will tell you why. And so yeah, any young people coming through, I would just say get a crappy setup. You can do it on your phone, and you know, there's no like you better have to have one thing out that sounds a little bit average, so people can get to know who you are, than have nothing out. Because I wish I'd done that in so many other bands. Because I feel like that's why we've been. Well, I feel like we've been productive is because we've just got a bit of a setup we can do, and then as you do it more, you get better. And I mean, the next song we've done too will be the first song where we've outsourced. I guess we probably got to a point where we're like,
Yeah.
We can do it all, but there was someone that could definitely master it better than us, and you get a little bit of a following, so you're like, it's probably worth that little bit of an investment now to do it. But when you're just starting out, just get the stuff, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You got any sort of like, everyone's got a smartphone now. You can download any free software off that can plug into an interface for like $100 from JV Hi-Fi. Just get out there and just do it.
That's, really good advice there, Connor.
What about you, Jarrod?
I'm still thinking. I don't know. The first thing that comes to my mind is don't do things to please others. If it's not what you want to do, like, I was in a band. It's just come straight back to experience. There was so much that I did in my first band that I did it because it was making the other people happy. I was miserable. I hated it. And but it was like, oh yeah, if I'm in this band, I was so happy just being in the band. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll keep doing what they want me to do. I'll keep doing what they want me to do. So I spent, I don't know, probably the first 5 or 6 years playing in bands and stuff where I was doing other people's dreams, I guess, like writing their music. And it was only sort of around about COVID time where I started actually doing vocals and stuff. And always sort of wanted to do it and stuff, but never had that confidence to actually be able to do it. So probably the best bit of advice I could actually do is would be confidence related. Would be find yourself someone that you trust and know, and won't judge you too badly, and actually sit down and show them this is what you want to do, and should I pursue this, and try and work out your strengths and weaknesses rather than just like I don't know. I guess I hid my needs and wants and whatnot. Like I used to always think to myself, this would sound cool if there was a scream in it, or I'd never say anything about it, and eventually you just get to a point where I guess you get frustrated about that as well. So even though I'm doing what other people want, I'm then getting frustrated at those people, and even if it's like it's not really reciprocated both ways, I guess, and they're not realizing that I'm annoyed by it because I haven't said anything.
Yeah, it's and two different pieces of advice there. I do like both dynamics of what Connor and Jarrod have said because they're both, things that you need to look at when you're starting out as a band and an artist. And I think, again, not that Sam's speaking from experience, but both Jarrod and Connor have made very good points and lots to think about for people out there.
That's what we do.
Well, I'm gonna sort of answer that. Like, not that Sam's in a band, but I always get asked, what advice would I give to someone starting out? Whether it's a YouTube channel, a podcaster, anything like that. I'd just say, just do it. It's not that hard. It's create a channel if you're gonna go the WebEx or Zoom path. All you got to do is create a channel, get some equipment, know how to host a WebEx and Zoom meeting's pretty important because if you don't know how to do that, might have a few issues there. And then just do it. Don't worry about what you sound like or what your channel's about. If you have the passion and the love for it, just do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, just get out there and have a go. Just do it. Don't worry about what other people don't. I think that's one thing for me when we play too is just if you're having fun, don't it's always sick if you play a gig and everyone loves you, but you also like try not to get too caught up in what you're doing. I reckon that's with any band. Like I'm sure, I didn't really start listening to Bring Me the Horizon until they were probably I didn't listen to them to that album with Sleepwalking came out. I'm sure you can everything you do, there'll be someone in the room that doesn't like it. But there's also be probably someone that does. So just and these people's personal taste, don't take it to heart, especially if you're young and just starting out too. Who cares if you're playing 3-chord power chord songs? You're 14, 15, having a go. We played an all ages gig the other week, and we played with a band. I can't remember what they were called. Sound something.
Sound disorientation.
Yeah, and they were sick. They just played wicked or power chords, solos. But they were having so much fun up there, and no one cared, and they loved it. It was such a great vibe. And that's what you want. If you could video that gig and be just do what these guys are doing, just have a shit ton of fun with your mates coming along. That's what it's about.
And I think, and constructive criticism is fine. Because a lot of the time I don't have criticism of bands' music, because a lot of people say you're always a positive about the band's music, and my theory for that is I don't think I'm in a position to give constructive criticism when the music's that fucking good. It's hard to criticize any band's music here in Australia because it's just so good. And I mean, Bring Me the Horizon, they've done everything that any band would want to do. I mean, sold out shows, stadiums, collaborated with the biggest names in music. And a lot of people criticised the album after that very album that Sleepwalking was on. That's a Spirit cropped. So much criticism, and I'm like, I actually fucking love this album. like with Drown and Follow You and True Friends, Avalanche even. I mean, but everyone's like, oh, it's not Shadow Moses. It's not, Can You Feel My Heart? I'm like, well, fucking hell. Of course it's not going to be Shadow Moses. Nothing's going to be as good as Shadow Moses was. Fucking hell. I mean,
Yeah, it's like a crazy one, right? It's like always like I remember watching a video on I mean, and I guess everyone will have their own opinion of it, of the Green Day when they put out the American Idiot album. And then Billy Joel just being like, the album's exactly the same as the others. It's just someone wanted to give us a budget to record this one. It's like, and if you listen back to it with that, thinking about it, it's like, probably really not that much different to all their other albums. It's just someone decided to give them a lot of money when they recorded this one to, spend more than 2 days in the studio and do a few more takes and run it through better gear. So, yeah.
and I think a lot of people weren't expecting a 9-minute epic on American Idiot either in Jesus of Suburbia, which is, for me, just straight out one of the best Green Day songs, full stop, for me.
I used to think when people criticize bands about like changing their style, in my brain it's always like start your own band and write the music you want to write. Then, it's all just art, right? So whatever they're recording at the time is what they want to put out. Especially when it's a band, right? Like maybe it's a bit different when it's like a solo act and it's they're the face of Sony or like they're being pushed by a record label and they're not really having a say. But when it's just a band recording stuff and then putting out what they want, that's what they want to put out. Just let them do it.
But I like that. Start your own band. That if you're going to criticize another band's way of making music, maybe start your own and create different music. No, but yeah, you always get the haters, as they say, and the knockers of bands' albums. I mean, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon have copped that much. Parkway Drive's a perfect example of Australia. Ever since pretty much Atlas, everyone said, oh, this isn't Parkway Drive. It's like, it is Parkway Drive, it's just their new sound.
I mean, yeah, once you've been doing something for a while too, like, you want to change it up, don't you? Like, I mean, and all good if you don't. AC/DC have however many albums that sound exactly the same. They obviously froth doing what they're doing. Props, but I mean, I know personally, we won't. If we still releasing music in 5 years' time, it will not sound anything like the music we just released now. It's like just your natural progression. We'll be sick of writing songs that sound like they do now and jamming them, and it will probably be something completely different. And that's cool. It is sort of how things happen, isn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, and as you said, AC/DC are a perfect example probably of some band that has remained the same and become successful and done very well at it. But yeah, sometimes bands need to adapt to a different genre of music or experimentation to become that next big thing, like a Bring Me the Horizon, like a Muse, like a Architects even, where they have changed their music and now become some of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah, and it's probably what's kept them going too, right? Like, there's a lot of bands where I like bands like Violent Soho and stuff, and like, they've done 4 albums, and I don't know them personally or anything, but I'm assuming it's like they probably just got sick of writing the songs that sound exactly like that, and it's like we've done 4 albums now. That's the band, So like, is what it is.
Actually, speaking of Violent Soho and Tassie bands, there was a Tassie band actually in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago called Backyard Business, and they actually did a cover of Covered in Chrome by Violent Soho. I'm like, oh, it's a great song, but to try and cover it and do it as well as obviously Violent Soho have, and they actually did a pretty fucking good job of it. And
yeah, they're cool blokes. I played with them in a couple of old bands. Has this pretty small place.
Because, yeah, and everyone in the crowd was just going, fuck, yeah, that chorus part of Covered in Chrome. Just like everyone screaming, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, Sam won't attempt the Violent Soho cover of Covered in Chrome because Sam can't sing, firstly. Alrighty, well, I've asked Jarrod and Connor all the questions. Now the tables get turned, and I'm the question answerer person. That still doesn't seem like the right title for the thing. You know what I mean?
All right, I got one straight off the bat. Favorite pre-gig meal?
Ooh, I like that. What is my favourite pre? I feel it's got to be it's a staple in Australian. It's the old chicken parma and chips.
Yeah. I reckon I've eaten that much pizza this year before gigs. That's yeah, every single time we play in Hobart. Because all the venues are so close together. There's this little place on the corner, I think it's called Medici Pizza. But wherever we play, I walk down to Medici Pizza, have a pizza, and then walk back up to the venue for sound check.
Because it's an interesting thing that too, Jarrod, because I've heard a lot of bands that I've spoken to that actually won't eat before they're set or only just have a snack till they get up on stage, and then once they're done, they have something to eat. And it's like, I don't think I could play on an empty stomach.
I think we all like food too much in our band.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ultra professional with my vocals and stuff. Like I don't, some people they'll have cups of tea and like I do warm ups and stuff before gigs and stuff like that, but like not to the point that any other people would do. And we haven't had to play like a 4 hour set or anything yet, so I can handle the 30-minute sets and because it's not all screaming and it's not all clean. Like I can kind of handle having the bit of both, but yeah, it just works for me. I remember years ago I posted in the Tassie chat, and I wrote in there and just said, "Look, I'm learning how to do vocals. Here's a clip of me doing vocals. Anyone got any helpful advice?" And you get the people coming on going, do some warm ups, drink tea, do this, do that. And I just remember one specific person writing in there, "Have a fucking beer, you'll be right." And that was it. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, why you playing the show?" He said, "Just have a beer." He said, and you won't remember how bad your performance is, but you'll never realise how good it was either.
Okay,
I was like, well, that's a bit of interesting piece of advice, but like I've never taken it too seriously. I've just always shown up and like done a bit of warm ups and stuff, and hope that it's gonna go well.
I mean,
I'd rather eat pizza, like have pizza than
live your life a little bit.
I don't think eating the pizzas like before a set for me is gonna diminish the quality of what we're doing, but it's gonna make me happy.
Well, we've
Josh
heard
puts Ziggy's out when he's playing, so he can do it. Not warm up properly. Anyone can.
Well, what's your go-to pre-meal then, Connor? We've heard Jarrod's and mine. Do you have a specific one, or?
No, it's the fine line of eating something, but not eating too much that you feel sick when you're on the stage. I reckon it's for me. But I'm with Jarrod. Like, I think too, because a lot of venues you sound checking, you have so much time hanging around, and we're not really big drinkers, so you got to eat something, right? Like, what else are you doing in the time? Yeah, anything really. We do mix it up a little bit. Depends where we are.
Dave drinks about 500 litres of Coke per gig.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
Pre-gig, we have this running joke of Dave just brings like an absurd amount of Cokes in actually
like a milk crate.
Yeah, we have a pretty DIY like playback setup at the moment, and we run it off a milk crate. But to drive to the gig, Dave fills it up with he'll bring like 16 cans of Coke, and like the joke will be like, how many cans of Coke will Dave drink before on the way home? Normally it tops out about 7 or 8, but it's crazy. And this guy is wafer thin. He just drinks Coke like they might not make it anymore. It's crazy.
Fuck, I wish I could do that. I mean, I'd drink that much Coke, and thank God you can't see belly over WebEx because Sam's not exactly skinny. I don't know if I'd drink what Connor's saying, the 7 or 8 cans of Coke in one day. No, but
actually, we do have a pre-gig ritual. I was thinking about it just then. there's a new lolly shop in Sheffield. And I don't know, most people, me and Dave live in Sheffield, and it's like a tiny little country town. And it's like just recently got a lolly shop, and we stop in there and just get like a real niche bag of lollies. That's like probably our pre-gig ritual. And now, like, we weren't going to do it one gig, and Dave called me. He's like, "No, we've got to stop at the lolly shop. I've got to get something." And we'll get like a really weird energy drink to drink on the way home. When you finish at midnight, you got to drive 4 hours to get home. But yeah, that's probably our pre-gig ritual more than the food. Get a real niche bag of lollies or something.
Well, I've got a pre-gig, not pre-gig ritual, but a pre-interview ritual, and this is going to sound really, really weird. I listen to the band's music, then I go and play 2 games of solitaire before the interview starts.
There you go.
I don't know why I do it, but it works.
It works. It works.
I think not so much the solitaire thing, but I think listening to the band's music about an hour before the interview helps because it's still in my mind. Because if I listen to it a day before or 2 days before, I might be like, oh shit, what if I get asked what's my thoughts on the band's music? It won't be as set in my mind as if, let's say, 45 minutes before the interview, like today.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
All right. Connor, question?
Oh, on the spot.
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh yeah, that's a solid question
There
actually.
you go. Save a day.
Coke or Pepsi?
People are usually pretty strong about this actually. You a Coke man or you're a Pepsi man?
I'm a Coke fan, but not straight Coke. It has to be vanilla. I don't know why. I just...
Fair.
I reckon I'm split. I'm like, if it's normal, like full sugar, Coke all the way. But Pepsi Max tastes heaps better than no sugar Coke.
See, I've never had no sugar Coke. I've had no sugar Pepsi, and I'm like, this actually doesn't taste that bad, but I have heard the Coke Zero or Diet Coke doesn't taste good at all.
Yeah, I reckon I like Pepsi Max, then Coke and full sugar Coke. I reckon that's the order for me. Just a bit less syrupy. Nothing to do with health. We did just drink Coke there. I wouldn't say I'm a real health fanatic.
Join the club, Connor. I'm literally the worst representation of health. You do not want to know my diet. It's not the best. But nah, I won't do it Brittany though. Didn't Brittany get into trouble for drinking Coke and she was sponsored by Pepsi, I think?
Oh,
I remember something like that happening, yeah.
Must have
Oh,
been a while though, because Coke bought Pepsi out.
yeah.
We might have to start on the way to gigs, start filming Dave with his Cokes and try and get him a sponsorship.
About it like I saw everyone's on social media, and we're probably pretty bad for it, really. And it's like, what would be good ways to do it? It's like, no, we should just be like, do TikToks of how many Cokes start. This is Dave, Coke 1. This is Dave, Coke 2. Dave loves Coke.
Oh, he's going to watch this and say, oh, that's... why are they picking on me, you know? But...
Oh, no, he's used to it. There's always someone in the band that has to get picked on, and it's definitely Dave.
Yeah. And then Dave tries to turn the tables and pick on us, and we just pick on him more.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Banter. That's another key to a good band, I reckon, is if there's banter and shit stirring each other. I think that works well as if everyone is happy to take it and dish it, then I think that's, banter's, that's another thing on this podcast. I always love banter because it makes the interview more funner, and this is no exception. Fun is not the word, but the thing I don't like about interviews is the end. That's the only thing I hate about these interviews, is when it has to wrap up. Because I've enjoyed Connor and Jarrod being on the YouTube podcast, as I have with every other band, and I love my deceased estate, and I'll keep supporting you guys because I feel like you've got a really good future in front of you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
And just before we go, we can check you out on all the socials, I take it?
Yeah, we're on most of them.
Yeah.
We're even on TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
we don't do much on there, but we're on there. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
We might be on other ones. I just can't remember.
But yeah, if you're interested, definitely jump on and check us out. We do plan. Well, we've got a new release coming out. We're still trying to work it out, but I reckon it's going to be late November, early December. So hopefully we'll have some stuff up on there, and
Oh, Rave Gravy.
yeah.
Yeah, the Rave Gravy.
The rave
I can't
metal-
wait to hear
It's
that.
not called Rave Gravy. We nearly called it Rave Gravy.
Yeah, the
Nah.
rave metal movement's coming, so
Yeah.
stay on.
As long as it's not called How to Make Gravy, you'll be right.
Oh, you've called us out there. Bugger.
Paul Kelly's on it too.
And then, of course,
We've just been sitting on this sneaky Paul Kelly feature, not mentioned it once.
I've got to admit, I actually do like the original, but I love Paul Kelly, but I actually think Luca Brassi's cover of it was actually a little bit better. Not much, but
I've never heard the original to the cover, so there you go.
But no, check out My Deceased Estate. Check them out. Check out this episode. They'll be featured on the Spotify playlist to go with this episode, and won't be the last time they'll be featured on a Spotify playlist this year or in the future. You'll be very popular.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Connor and Jarrod from My Deceased Estate, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll keep in touch.
No worries. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate all your work.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, mate.
See ya.
Right, how do we get out?
Oh.
That button.